Here with a Forex market analysis for you on November 6th, 2019. And we're going to take a look and see what's going on in the Forex markets today. And real quick, just go over our disclaimer, just to remind you that this is for illustrative purposes only. And with that, we're now going to get on with business. So let's go to our live scene. And here we are at www.forex-trading-unlocked.com. As you can see, our stream is going. We're going to jump and click on the Forex page here, this link, and this is going to pull up our page-specific guide to help us look at the markets. All right, so let's pull down here. Okay, so let's see. Do we want to start over in Asia or do we want to start in Europe? Well, since Brexit got pushed out and there's nothing going on with that, and that's not going to be done until God knows who knows when, so we'll just kind of skip over and take a look at the New Zealand dollar first. All right, let's see what's going on here. So the New Zealand dollar, they are loading up. I don't think there's any real major news. Let's see, it's pulling up right now. Okay, so now from this one, we may go back to that last page, or we may just change the symbols. I don't know, it might be quicker to do that. Let's see, right now we're loading up our first chart with the news. And it's definitely taking a little while this morning. That's with our connection speed today. Well, hopefully you're hearing me okay, because the scene is moving very slow. Here we go, now it's loading up. Data range, log auto. Okay, just running a little slow. Sorry about that, folks. We don't have anything else running. That's crazy. Okay, so New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Here we go, it pulls up. And let's see the news, stock twits and headlines. Let's see, cap, must hold. Okay, little movement after RBA decision. See, yep, I knew the news. There was nothing. If you had already a rate decision and there's nothing that's making this thing move, then what can you do? All right, so let's get rid of this news part here. Let's cancel out the volume here. All right, so what do we have here? We have recently made a higher move high, and right now it looks like we're starting to maybe stage a higher move low. Let's see. Excuse me. Got a little bit of allergies hitting me today. Okay. All right. So what do we have here? So today we're riding the trend line. I guess we're going to have to really look for a positive close above this trend line today to really think that we're going to maintain a truly bullish posture. So let's go here, see what kind of, yeah, we could still slide a little bit. Okay, so we've recently made this higher move high a couple sessions back, and now we are on a slightly positive trading range right now, as right after the markets in the U.S. have just opened. All right, so let's see what we have going on here. Like we said, we have not much of a range. And what we'll do here is we'll put this little horizontal ray, this last higher move low. Excuse me. I think that right there is going to be one of our pivot points for bullish and bearish direction. So we're going to keep this right here. Notice how you can do this yourself on this website. Very easy, no login, just jump in and pop it up. Okay. All right, so this is what we have going on for the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Right now, we're going to use this 63.35 as our critical pivot level. Obviously, the market is a little ways above that. And we also have to remember that since October 1st, this market has been rallying. So we've had a couple of bearish corrections recently. This is pretty much symmetrical. So I would think that right now, this might potentially, I would key off of today's trading range. Right now, I think that obviously it's a short-term bear. However, it's an overall bull over the past month and a half. So I would think you're going to have a lot of grappling with direction right now. I would wait to see how today's close is. Another thing you can do is check the dollar index. Sorry, my voice is a little harsh today, a little dried out. Okay, here we go. So dollar index settled really positive yesterday. This is after having made a lower move low a few days ago. Which is significant because it's been in a bearish trend for a month. Basically, there's been, as they say, high tides rise all lift all boats. This is kind of what's happened to the other currencies versus the U.S. dollar. So, because the U.S. dollar index has been breaking for basically a month and a half, almost a little over a month, and has definitely over the past 2.5 weeks been chopping around in this range. So we'll see how I think today's market action is going to be what's going to be the key to figuring out tomorrow into Friday. I think that today's news, we have to watch the volatility. Right now it seems pretty sparse, as you can see. So what are we doing here? So let's see. So the market has sold off quite significantly over the past 2 days, just like the dollar index has rallied. Now the dollar index is kind of on a pause, so let's key off of that today. So if you want to be participating today, I'd kind of follow that. If the dollar index is ticking up and getting stronger, I would think you're going to see some weakness in a currency such as the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, and I think we'll start to see that prevail in these other currencies as well. Okay, so we have the Australian dollar, US dollar that we're pulling up now, and let's see, news, we'll pull that up. Yeah, they're affected by the RBA as well. Okay, now this market had made a newer high last. Has been bobbling around just under this resistance for the past couple days. And this, like I said, this is unchanged, not much of a range here. This is in the wake of the dollar index having spiked pretty much where it did here, where this one spiked. So I think this is doing the same as the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. I would key off of the Dixie for direction. And if you want to pivot here or something, I would say that this is the low to key off of. Any slide below 68.76 is going to have this market on edge. So US dollar JPY. Let's look at the big currency in that area. All right, now this currency, unlike the other ones, has been kind of doing its own whatever it wants to do. So, as a market overall. Now, obviously, the US dollar yen has been in a rally since early October. So, early October, first it sold off when the dollar started to fall against the other currencies. So, initially, the yen was like those currencies. So, whatever it was, it touched off the initial dollar weakness in the beginning of October, impacted even the yen. So, even while those other major currencies were getting stronger, so did the yen. However, that was short-lived. Whatever's been driving dollar weakness overall is not impacting the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. As you can see, over the past few sessions, the dollar index has been gaining strength, and so has the U.S. dollar yen. Today, there's a little bit of a pause, a little bit of a profit-taking move going on in the U.S. dollar yen. Perhaps that is the same thing that's going on in the dollar index. Right now, I truly believe that this is one of the best indicators you can have on any given day or part of the day right now is just keying off the dollar index. It seems to be the one thing that is in tandem, or just in this case, it's the opposite, which will be interesting because now we have to wait for some sort of divergence between, say, the yen and other currencies to maybe signal when the dollar might actually really truly have strength. Because if this is going the opposite, we would like to see this, continue. So, with that being said, we have another pivot here. So this rally, this market has made higher move highs, higher move lows. As you can see, higher move high, higher move low, higher move high. This is more of a long-term higher move low. So yes, it did take out this low. And now it's failed to make another high here. And this is where I think you have to go with that whole thing as far as this is going the opposite way of the dollar index. So we'll see how the yen, I would think that even this is another key. You can watch the US dollar yen and the dollar index to kind of get a bearing on what's going to happen with the other major currencies as far as strength or weakness versus the dollar, I believe. All right, now let's take a look at the GBPUSD, which actually For a currency that's had a lot of volatility and a lot of strength over the past, as you can see, month, it's getting really tight, the ranges. Now, this is something that always scares me. Whenever the British pound starts to get really tight ranges, like it has the past few sessions, like it's been swinging. It made a nice little correction here, and then it tried to rally up and make new highs. It failed, and now it's just a little bit off of that. So we're kind of right in the median of after having made these highs. So anyone can look at this as a bull, saying this is a digestive phase, and it most likely is, especially because Brexit didn't happen. Excuse me, we have other political issues going on over there, not to mention in the EU. And then as far as we have the dollar index that's coming unhinged too. So I think that you have to see, how things pan out here. And then, like I said, watch the dollar index, and also like the US dollar yen, which has been the opposite of the other major currencies. Let's see how these end up today, because right now it doesn't look like we're going to have very much action going on here. All right, let's go to the euro US dollar. Okay. We are looking at a very tight range here. Look at this. Okay, so the high is, let's see, for the euro US dollar is $1.1092. Low is 1066. So that is what? That's 25. Wow, that's a very tight range this morning. And off of these lows. So yesterday the market state took a lower move low, indicating a bearish correction was definitely in place, because we had made this new high, we made this higher move low, we made a lower move high, and now we've made a lower move low. So with that being said, support seems to be what's on the mind of the market right now. Once again, the dollar index too. See how this harsh sell-off? Look at that. That's where the dollar index had its rally. Now the dollar index is pausing, and look at what's going on. The euro US dollar is as well. So we have to really kind of key off of this afternoon's close to kind of get a signal as to where things are going. And I think that if you get a positive close, even if the market just had this range like this today, that would set you up for potentially another little rally into Thursday afternoon. And then, we'll see where it goes from there. We have to see, I have to get there first. But, right now I'd say if you're an aggressive bull, or if you think that the bears are just not going to be able to press this move, or you want to take a profit, I think that right now this is a good time. And if you want to sell it, be careful, because you might be selling it in the hole. Not that this is a confirmed bearish trend, and we can definitely start heading down towards this $1.10 area, $1.0980, whatever. But right now it seems that it looks like it wants to have a little correction. Like maybe we have some symmetry. Like see how we made this high, we made this low, and then we came back just short of the highs, and now we just made this. We might be in a symmetrical kind of wave where we're digesting things. So we'll have to take a look at that later. Let's look at the US dollar CHF. Okay, now this one is another one like the yen. Has typically been trading a little bit different. This one right now has been riding the wave of the dollar index. It had this little rally. See that again? This occurred yesterday. I think, once again, this is a dollar index kind of thing going on that we have to watch out for. There's no major signals to give us any indication, because we're starting to get into sideways digestive areas. And speaking of signals, let's go back to our Dixie and take a look at one thing that we can ponder. So the Dixie, on a monthly basis, is starting to show weakness. We have a head and shoulders formation. Here's the head, here's the second shoulder. We have this red bar here was October. This is a negative sell signal. It's called a bearish engulfing line, which definitely indicates a high potential a chance of the market going to tread lower and test support for the next few months, maybe even upwards of 2 quarters, if this sell signal is valid. So this high is critical. I would use this high as an indication of market direction. And right now, I think what you have is a little digestion of this slide. Like you can see, when this has a sell-off, now not that this can't climb all the way up and make new highs, but I think if you have a chance of this market turning lower, that we can definitely see a slide in the market. So, which means that if the dollar index is going lower, you're probably going to see, excuse me, currencies such as the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar that we looked at, as well as the euro and the pound going higher. The Swiss may not necessarily be the same. We'll have to see. That, like the yen, has not necessarily been trading in tandem with the other major currencies just because of dollar strength and dollar weakness on an individual day. Overall, it has for the Swiss. Not so for the yen. It seems that dollar weakness is very good for the yen, and we shall see how that pans out in the future. So yes, key off this negative sell signal right here in the dollar index, and also what the dollar index is doing to see what's going on in the FX markets. So let's see, we're back to our Twitch page. Just wanted to see if anybody has left any questions. It doesn't look like anybody has. So now we will go to this page, and the sell signal we talked about in the dollar index, the high probable Japanese candlestick pattern. You can read all about it in this book. It's available on Amazon, and you can get it in paperback version or in Kindle version. And you can learn how to trade signals like the bearish engulfing line, especially on a monthly basis, and how it can impact your trading in other markets, as well as long-term and short-term trades. And if you do read the book, you'll be able to utilize these signals and give yourself a nice competitive edge in the FX markets, the futures markets, the options markets, equity markets, you name it. Just like we were looking at the index, the dollar index, that's one market which you can trade through ETFs in multiple different ways. It gives you a bearing on how other currencies are going to move as well. Obviously, that's if the signal is true and holds. If it fails, well, obviously, there gives you another change in direction. So for those that you don't believe in those signals, fade them and see what happens. All right, with that, please, you always have a plan. Use risk to manage your trades for sure. And please like, follow, and share, and come back to www.forex-trading-unlocked.com and check and see out what we got going on. And we will be back after this afternoon to see what goes on and hopefully have some trading signals.